The message arrived on a Tuesday morning. Director Tay stared at the holographic display floating above his desk. He read the alien text 3 times, his eyes growing wider with each pass. After 15 years of being ignored by the wider Galactic, Community Earth had finally received an invitation to the Galactic Summit. "This changes everything," he whispered to his empty office. The summit happened once every 50 years. It was where the powerful species of the galaxy made the big decisions: trade routes, resource rights, technology sharing. Earth had been discovered 15 years ago, but humans were seen as new and primitive. No one expected an invitation for at least another century. Yet here it was. Director Tay pressed a button on his desk. "Get me June," he said. "Immediately." June was not what most people expected in a diplomat. He was tall and lean, with short black hair and intense eyes that seemed to notice everything. At 35, he was young for his position. Too young, according to many of his colleagues. He walked through the halls of Earth's diplomatic headquarters in Seoul with quick steps. The message he received was urgent, but gave no details. That was typical of Director Tay, who hated sharing important news through electronic channels. The headquarters building was a mix of traditional Korean design and modern technology, wood and stone alongside glass and steel. It represented Earth's approach to joining the galactic community. Honor the past, while embracing the future. June knocked once on the director's door before entering. "You wanted to see me, sir?" "Director." Tay looked up from his desk. He was in his 60s with gray hair and lines on his face from years of difficult negotiations. "Sit down, June. What I'm about to tell you must stay in this room for now." June sat, his back straight, waiting. "We've been invited to the Galactic Summit." The words hung in the air between them. June's expression didn't change, but his mind raced with implications. "When?" he asked. "1 month from now. The Altarians will provide transport." June nodded slowly. "The Altarians? Interesting. They've been the most open to communication with us." "Yes," Director Tay agreed. "Though that's not saying much. No one has been particularly welcoming." "They see us as children," June said. "Noisy, unpredictable children who somehow manage to build spaceships." Director Tay smiled slightly. "That's why I'm sending you as our representative." Now June showed surprise. "Me?" "There are more experienced diplomats. More traditional diplomats, yes. But this situation needs your unique approach." June had an unusual background. He had studied both military tactics and cultural anthropology. He understood how different species thought, how they fought, and how they made peace. His methods were unconventional, which made many people uncomfortable. "The council won't like this decision," June said. "I'll handle the council, Director," Tay replied. "You focus on preparing. We have one chance to make an impression at this summit. One chance to show the galaxy that humans deserve respect." June stood and bowed slightly. "I won't let you down." "One more thing," Director Tay said, as June turned to leave. "Try not to embarrass humanity." June's mouth curved into a small smile. "No promises." 2 weeks later, June stood on the landing pad watching the Altarian ship descend from the clouds. It was beautiful, shaped like a silver teardrop with no visible engines. It made almost no sound as it landed. Next to him stood his team: Mina, the xenobiology expert, and Jin, the security officer. They were both qualified and, more importantly, adaptable. "Remember," June said quietly, "they expect us to be grateful for the invitation. They expect us to be impressed by their technology. They expect us to be intimidated." "And we're not?" asked Mina. "We're none of those things," June replied. "We're observant, we're respectful, and we're equal partners, even if they don't know it yet." The ship's door opened with a soft hiss. Ambassador Dury of the Altarians stepped out. The alien was tall and thin, with blue-gray skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Its eyes were large with no visible pupils, and it had 4 long fingers on each hand. "Welcome, Ambassador," June said, stepping forward and bowing in the traditional Earth greeting. He carefully avoided the Altarian greeting, which would have suggested Earth was the lesser party. Ambassador Dury paused, noting the subtle message in the greeting. "Thank you for your welcome, Representative June. The Grand Summit awaits Earth's first appearance." The way the ambassador said "first appearance" carried a hint of condescension, as if Earth was being allowed to sit at the adults' table for the first time. June pretended not to notice. "We are honored to join the galactic community in this important discussion," he replied smoothly. The team boarded the ship, which was even more impressive inside. The walls seemed to be alive, changing color slightly as they walked through. The air was cooler than Earth standard and slightly thinner. "We've adjusted the atmosphere in your quarters to Earth normal," Ambassador Dury said. "We understand humans have specific needs." "Thank you, but that won't be necessary," June replied. "We've trained to adapt to various environments. We find it helpful to experience other species' preferred conditions." Ambassador Dury's large eyes blinked slowly, the only sign of surprise. "As you wish." As they were shown to their quarters, June made mental notes of everything: the layout of the ship, the technology visible and hidden, the way the Altarian crew looked at the humans with a mixture of curiosity and dismissal. Later, in the privacy of their common room, Mina asked, "Why did you refuse the Earth normal settings?" "We could have been more comfortable." "Comfort isn't our goal," June explained. "Information is. They expect us to be weak and dependent. Every time we show we're not, we learn something from their reaction." Jin, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "They have 23 crew members, all armed with concealed energy weapons. The ship's central control is 2 decks up. There are 7 escape pods." June nodded. "Good. And Mina?" "Their biology is interesting," she said. "They're showing signs of a species that evolved in a high-radiation environment. Probably why their skin has that metallic quality. It might explain their technological advancement, too. They would have had to develop protection early in their development." "Excellent observations," June said. "Keep watching, keep learning. The summit begins in 10 days. By then, I want to know more about them than they know about themselves." That night, as the ship accelerated toward the distant meeting place, June stood at the viewing port in his quarters, looking out at the stars. Earth was already invisible in the distance. "They invited humans to their summit," he whispered to himself with a small smile. "They have no idea what they've done." The Grand Summit Station appeared in the viewing window like a silver flower blooming in space. Its central hub connected to 5 large petal-shaped sections, each rotating slowly to create gravity. Hundreds of ships of different sizes and shapes surrounded it, a floating garden of alien technology. "Impressive," said Mina, standing beside June at the window. "Size isn't everything," June replied quietly. "Look there and there." He pointed to different sections of the station. "Notice how some areas are more decorated than others. The shiniest parts are where the powerful species have their quarters." Ambassador Dury approached from behind. "We will be docking in 20 minutes. Your quarters are in Sector E." After the ambassador left, Jin joined them at the window. "Sector E is the smallest petal," he noted. "And the furthest from the central hub," added June. "They're putting us in the corner." He didn't sound upset. He sounded like he had expected this. "Should we complain?" asked Mina. June shook his head. "We accept graciously. Every slight reveals something about how they see us. And every time they underestimate us, we gain an advantage." The Altarian ship docked smoothly. As the Earth delegation prepared to disembark, June activated his personal AI assistant. "Sue, are you ready?" he asked. A warm, grandmotherly voice answered, from the small device on his wrist. "Yes, June. All systems functioning properly." Sue was designed to look and sound like June's grandmother, who had raised him after his parents died. The AI could analyze data, translate languages, and provide advice. Most importantly, it could do all this without other species noticing. "Keep scanning and recording," June instructed. "I want to know everything about this place." The delegation stepped off the ship into a massive docking bay. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about. Some were tall and thin like the Altarians. Others were short and round. Some had multiple limbs or eyes. Some floated rather than walked. A small green alien with large eyes approached them. Earth. Delegation, welcome. I am Assistant Coordinator Pym. Please follow me to your quarters. They followed Pym through wide corridors. The air smelled strange, a mix of different atmospheres and life forms. The walls displayed moving images of stars and planets. The welcome reception begins in 3 hours, Pym informed them. All new, delegations are expected to attend. Their quarters were small but clean. 3 tiny bedrooms connected to a common area. The furniture was clearly designed for beings with different body shapes than humans. Is this satisfactory? Asked Pym. It's perfect, June replied with a smile. Thank you for your hospitality. After Pym left, Mina looked around the room. These chairs aren't made for human bodies. Making adjustments is part of diplomacy, June said as he examined the space carefully. Sue, scan for listening devices. 3 detected, the AI replied after a moment. 1 in each bedroom and 1 in the common area. June nodded, unsurprised. Let's get ready for the reception. Remember, we're being watched and judged from now on. Every word, every gesture matters. 3 hours later, they entered the massive reception hall. The space was filled with hundreds of aliens representing at least 30 different species. Some floated in anti-gravity fields. Others stood in special chambers filled with their native atmospheres. Stay close but not too close, June instructed his team. Observe everyone, listen to everything. They moved through the crowd, accepting drinks of clear liquid that tasted like sweet water. Many aliens stared at them openly. Some whispered to each other as the humans passed. An alien with shimmering purple skin approached them. Ah, the Earth. Representatives. How exciting to have such new species join us. I am Counselor Bayek of the Vorn Confederacy. Thank you, Counselor, June replied with a slight bow. We're honored to be included. You must find all this quite overwhelming, Beck continued, gesturing around the room. Your species has only recently achieved space travel, yes? The technology here must seem like magic to you. The comment was designed to remind the humans of their place. Newcomers, primitives. June smiled politely. Actually, we find the similarities more striking than the differences, he replied. Many principles of physics are universal after all, though I'm particularly impressed by the quantum entanglement communication system you're using. We've only recently begun exploring that technology ourselves. Counselor Bayek's skin changed color slightly, darkening with surprise. The humans shouldn't have been able to identify that technology so easily. You are well informed, Beck said. We try to be, June replied. By the way, I noticed you touched your left antenna twice while speaking to the Altarian ambassador earlier. In Vorn culture, that indicates disagreement, doesn't it? I hope there's no trouble between your peoples. Bayek stepped back slightly. You've studied our customs? Of course, wouldn't you, in our position? The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a tall, elegant alien with silver skin. Welcome to the first beings from Earth to attend a summit, the newcomer said. I am Speaker Dune, mediator of this gathering. Thank you, Speaker, June replied. We look forward to participating. Yes, well, participation is earned at the summit, Speaker Dune said. New species typically observe for the first few cycles before being granted speaking rights. I see, June replied calmly. We're happy to follow tradition, though I understood from the invitation that Earth would have full participant status. Speaker Dune's expression didn't change, but there was a pause before they replied. There must have been a misunderstanding. The preliminary meetings have already been conducted. You'll be able to observe the main sessions, of course. After Speaker Dune moved away, Mina whispered, They're shutting us out. Yes, June agreed, which tells us they're discussing something that concerns Earth. Later, as the reception continued, the team spread out to gather more information. Jin moved silently through the crowd, listening to conversations. Mina engaged several xenobiologists in discussion. June spoke with representatives from different species, asking simple questions that revealed complex answers. They regrouped at the edge of the hall. They're surprised by our adaptability, Mina reported. Several species expected us to need special air supplies or gravity adjustments. Many are talking about resources in what they call the Orion Arm, added Jin. That's our section of the Galaxy? June nodded. I've confirmed we're being excluded from key meetings. Speaker Dune lied about the tradition of observation. New species normally have limited speaking rights, but they do participate. What do we do? Asked Mina. June looked around the room, observing the different groups of aliens, noting who spoke, to whom, who avoided whom. We continue as planned, he said. We learn their rules, their alliances, their weaknesses. And then what? Jin asked. June's expression was calm but determined. Then we show them why inviting humans might have been their biggest mistake. The Grand Assembly Chamber was a massive room with seats arranged in rising circles, like an ancient theater. Each delegation had an assigned section based on their species' status in the galactic community. Earth's seats were in the highest circle, furthest from the central speaking platform. June and Mina sat quietly, watching as the summit officially began. Speaker Dune stood on the central platform, welcoming all delegates. For 50,000 years, this summit has maintained peace and order in our galaxy, Dune announced. Today we continue that tradition. The first topic was resource allocation, in the Orion Arm, the section of the galaxy that included Earth. June listened carefully as various species made claims to star systems, planets, and asteroid belts. The Vorn Confederacy requests exclusive mining rights to the Tau Ceti system, Councillor Bayek stated. June leaned forward. Tau Ceti was only 12 light-years from Earth. It was one of the first systems humans hoped to explore in the next decade. Earth would like to address this request, June said, standing. All eyes turned to him. The chamber fell silent. Earth has not been recognized, Speaker Dune said coldly. My apologies, June replied. I was under the impression that matters concerning neighboring systems would involve all affected parties. Tau Ceti is unclaimed, Councillor Bayek said. Unless Earth has already established a presence there. No, June admitted. But it is within our zone of exploration. Your zone? Another alien laughed. Your species has barely left its own planet. Laughter spread through the chamber. June remained standing, his face calm. Perhaps Earth should focus on observing for now, Speaker Dune suggested. June sat down slowly. Under his breath, he whispered to Sue, record everything. Identify who supports the Vorn claim and who opposes it. The session continued. One by one, various star systems near Earth were claimed by different alien powers. Earth's concerns were ignored. During a break, a new human joined their delegation. Hyun was a technical specialist who had traveled on a separate ship. He was shorter than June, with round glasses and a serious expression. I came as soon as I got your message, Hyun said. Is it as bad as you thought? Worse, June replied. They're dividing up our entire region of space. Without consulting us at all? They don't think we deserve consultation. We need to change that. When the session resumed, June requested to speak again. This time, Speaker Dune reluctantly recognized Earth. The Earth delegation has concerns about these allocations, June said clearly. Many of these systems are within 50 light-years of our home. Our future exploration and expansion will be severely limited by these decisions. Councillor Bayek stood. With respect, new species cannot expect to claim large regions simply because they might someday reach them. The established powers have needs now. We're not claiming them, June countered. We're asking for discussion, for compromise. Perhaps the humans need to prove they deserve a voice in these matters, Beck suggested, looking around the chamber. After all, every species here has earned their place through demonstration of their abilities. Speaker Dune tilted his head. Are you suggesting a diplomatic challenge? I am, Beck replied. A murmur ran through the assembly. June glanced at Mina, who quickly used her device to search the summit archives. The diplomatic challenge is a traditional method for new species, To prove their worthiness, she whispered to June. It involves tests of various abilities. Speaker Dune addressed the chamber. A diplomatic challenge has been proposed. Does the Assembly support this measure? One by one, delegates voted. The results appeared on floating screens throughout the chamber. The vote was overwhelmingly in favor. Earth delegation, Speaker Dune said. You may accept the challenge or withdraw your objections to the resource allocations. June's communication device buzzed. A message from Director Tay. Decline challenge. Repeat. Decline. June switched off the device. Earth accepts the challenge, he announced. The chamber erupted in surprised conversations. Most species had expected the humans to back down. Very well, Speaker Dune said. The challenge will consist of 3 tests, selected by random from our traditional categories. The first test will begin tomorrow. If Earth succeeds in all 3, their concerns must be addressed by the Assembly. After the session ended, the human delegation gathered in their quarters. Why did you accept? Mina asked. Director Tay ordered us to decline. Because declining would mean giving up, June replied. They're already taking systems within 50 light years of Earth. In 50 more years at the next summit, they'll be even closer. But the challenge is designed for us to fail, Jin pointed out. Is it? June looked at each of them. What do we know about these aliens? They're technologically advanced, Hyun said. They're politically organized, added Mina, and they're completely confident in their superiority, June finished. That's their weakness. They expect us to fail, so they won't prepare for us to succeed. What are these tests likely to be? Jin asked. Mina consulted her research. Historically, they include tests of memory, physical endurance, problem-solving, cultural understanding, and ethical reasoning. Then we prepare for all of them, June said. Hyun, you'll handle memory and problem-solving, Jin, physical challenges, Mina, culture and ethics. I'll coordinate our approach. And if we fail? Hyun asked quietly. Then we fail with dignity, June replied. But we won't fail. The next morning, the challenge arena was filled with observers from every species. The humans entered to complete silence. The arena was a large circular space that could be reconfigured for different tests. Speaker Dune stood in the center. The first test has been randomly selected. Memory and pattern recognition. Screens appeared around the arena, displaying complex symbols and equations. Each species perceives patterns differently, Speaker Dune explained. This test adapts to your biological limitations. You will have 1 minute to memorize these patterns. Then they will vanish, and you must recreate them exactly. June turned to Hyun. This is your specialty. Hyun nodded and stepped forward. The patterns appeared, a bewildering array of shapes, colors, and mathematical formulas. Hyun stared at them intensely, his eyes moving quickly across each screen. After 1 minute, the screens went blank. Now, Speaker Dune said, recreate what you saw. Hyun approached a control panel. His fingers moved swiftly, entering data and drawing shapes. He worked methodically, his face showing deep concentration. The alien observers whispered among themselves. Most had expected immediate failure. After 10 minutes, Hyun stepped back. Complete. The original patterns reappeared alongside Hyun's recreation. A comparison program ran, checking for accuracy. The result flashed on the main screen. 99.7% match. The arena fell silent. Then Speaker Dune announced, the first test is passed. The human delegation allowed themselves small smiles. In the viewing area, Counselor Bayek turned to another alien. Impossible. How did they do that? Beginner's luck, the other replied. The physical endurance test tomorrow will break them. But June, overhearing this exchange, simply smiled. They had underestimated humans once. Soon they would learn not to make that mistake again. News of Earth's success in the first challenge spread quickly through the Grand Summit Station. Aliens who had ignored the humans now watched them with curious eyes when they passed in the corridors. Some even nodded in greeting. They're reassessing us, June told his team as they prepared for the second challenge. But don't be fooled. One success doesn't change their overall view. What do you think the next test will be? Asked Mina. Based on the whispers I heard, it's likely to be endurance, June replied. He turned to Jin. Are you ready? Jin nodded. He had spent the night in a special chamber that Hyun had built, practicing under different gravity and atmospheric conditions. As ready as I can be, he said. A new human joined their group that morning. Yuna was shorter than Mina, with friendly eyes and a quick smile. She was a cultural attaché who had studied alien social structures. Director Tai sent me, she explained. He's not happy about the challenge, but if you're committed to this path, he wants you to have all possible support. Welcome aboard, June said. Your timing is perfect. We need your cultural insights for the third challenge. When they arrived at the challenge arena, it had been completely transformed. Now it contained several different environmental chambers, one filled with water, another with thin air, a third with extreme heat. Speaker Dune addressed the gathered aliens. The second test is environmental adaptability. Each species faces unique challenges based on their biological limitations. For humans, we have created conditions that should test the very limits of your endurance. Jin stepped forward as Earth's representative for this challenge. The test has 3 stages. Speaker Dune continued. You must remain functional in each environment for 15 minutes while performing basic cognitive tasks. Few species succeed at all 3 stages on their first attempt. Jin looked at the chambers, his face showing no emotion. I understand. The first chamber was filled with water at near freezing temperature. Jin entered wearing only a light bodysuit. As the door sealed behind him, he began to swim slowly. A screen inside the chamber displayed mathematical problems that he had to solve by pressing sequences on a floating panel. In the observation area, Counselor Bayek watched with satisfaction. Humans are from a temperate planet. Their bodies aren't designed for extreme cold or water pressure. But Jin continued swimming steadily, solving problem after problem. His training as a security officer had included cold water endurance. When 15 minutes ended, he emerged shivering but fully functional. First stage complete, announced Speaker Dune, unable to hide a note of surprise. The second chamber contained air with only half the oxygen of Earth normal, similar to being on a very high mountain. The gravity was also increased to twice Earth standard. Jin entered, and immediately felt the weight of his body increase as his lungs worked harder to extract oxygen. He began the required tasks, arranging shapes into patterns while walking continuously around the chamber. His movements were slow, but steady. Several times he paused to take deeper breaths, but he never stopped working. Among the observers, murmurs of surprise grew louder. How is he doing this? One alien asked another. Humans evolved on a planet with varying conditions, Mina explained to a nearby group of aliens. Our ancestors lived in deserts, mountains, and Arctic regions. Our bodies adapted. When Jin completed the second stage, even Speaker Dune seemed impressed. The human continues to the final stage. The third chamber glowed with heat. The temperature inside was nearly twice what would be considered comfortable for humans. The air was thick with humidity. Jin hesitated for only a moment before entering. This would be the hardest test. Inside, he had to assemble a 3-dimensional puzzle while the chamber gradually rotated, changing the direction of gravity. Jin's skin reddened in the heat. Sweat poured from his body. His movements became slower, more deliberate. But he continued, working. In the final minutes, his hands shook slightly as he placed the last pieces of the puzzle. When the chamber door opened, he walked out on his own power, though he accepted a container of water from Hyun. All 3 stages complete, Speaker, Dune announced. Earth has passed the second test. The observation area erupted in excited conversations. No new species had ever passed the first 2 challenges on their first attempt. Back in their quarters, the team celebrated quietly while Jin recovered. 2 down, 1 to go, said Mina. The third will be the hardest, June warned. They won't risk losing again. They'll make it as difficult as possible. What do you think it will be? Asked Yuna. Based on tradition, it should be either problem-solving or ethical reasoning, Mina said. June's communication device buzzed. A message appeared. The final challenge will be strategic resolution. Earth must present a solution to the Krell-Vorn border dispute that has remained unsolved for 3 centuries. They've changed the rules, June said, showing them the message. This isn't a traditional challenge. They're asking us to solve a specific problem that has stumped them for hundreds of years. Is that allowed? Asked Hyun. They make the rules, June replied. But this might actually work in our favor. How? Jin asked, his voice still rough from the endurance test. Because humans are good at thinking differently, June explained. Sue, download all available information on the Krell-Vorn border dispute. The AI began working immediately. The dispute centers on a chain of 7 planets in the Gamma sector. Both species claim historic rights to the entire chain. The team worked through the night, analyzing the history of the dispute, the cultural values of both species, and previous failed attempts at resolution. Yuna's cultural knowledge proved invaluable as she identified patterns in the negotiation styles of both the Krell and the Vorn. They're both focused on all-or-nothing solutions, she observed. Neither will accept losing any of the planets. What if we reframe the problem, Mina suggested. Instead of dividing planets, we could divide functions. June nodded slowly. Shared sovereignty, different rights on each planet. Earth has experience with this, Hyun added. Countries have shared rivers, mountains, and resources for centuries. As morning approached, their solution took shape. It was unconventional by galactic standards but grounded in human diplomatic history. Will they accept something so different from their traditions? Jin wondered. They might not like it, June replied, but they'll have to acknowledge its effectiveness, and that's the point of this whole exercise, to show them that humans bring new perspectives to old problems. And if they reject it? Mina asked. June smiled slightly. Then we'll have proven that they never intended to give us a fair chance. Either way, we learn something important about our new galactic neighbors. As dawn broke on the station, the human delegation prepared to present their solution. The final test awaited, and with it Earth's chance to earn its voice in the galactic community. The grand decision chamber was filled to capacity. Representatives from every species had come to witness the final challenge. The human delegation stood at the center of the room, surrounded by rising tiers of alien observers. Above them, floating, screens displayed images of the disputed planets in the Krell-Vorn system. This final test will determine if Earth has earned the right to speak at the summit, Speaker Dune announced. They must propose a solution to the Krell-Vorn dispute that has remained unsolved for 3 centuries. Councillor Bayek spoke next. To be clear, both the Krell Republic and the Vorn Confederacy must find the solution acceptable, or Earth fails this challenge. Representatives from the Krell and Vorn sat in special sections. The Krell were shorter than humans, with thick, scaled skin and 4 eyes. The Vorn, with their purple skin and antennae, looked at the humans with doubt. June stepped forward. Before I present our solution, I would like to ask a question. Have previous proposals focused on dividing the planets between your peoples? The Krell representative answered. Yes, but no division has been acceptable to both sides. Each planet has unique resources, added the Vorn representative. Some have rare minerals. Others have ideal conditions for certain crops. Some have historic significance. June nodded. Thank you. This confirms our research. He turned to address the entire chamber. On Earth, we have faced similar disputes throughout our history. We've learned that when division fails, shared stewardship can succeed. Murmurs spread through the audience. Our solution is this, June continued. Instead of dividing planets, divide responsibilities. Each of the 7 planets would be governed by both species, but with different areas of authority. The screens changed to show a new organizational chart. On the first planet, the Krell would control resource extraction, while the Vorn would manage agriculture and settlement. On the second planet, these roles would be reversed. On the third planet, the Krell would govern the northern hemisphere, the Vorn the southern, with a joint administrative zone at the equator. June continued explaining their proposal. For each planet, they had designed a system that played to the natural strengths of each species, while ensuring neither had complete control. This creates interdependence, June explained. Each species needs the other for the system to function. Over time, this cooperation could lead to greater trust and shared prosperity. The Krell representative stood. This is unusual. Our people have always believed in clear ownership. As have ours, added the Vorn representative. With respect, Mina interjected, clear ownership is what created this dispute. 300 years without a resolution suggests a new approach is needed. Yuna stepped forward. We studied your cultural histories. Both the Krell and Vorn value ancestry and tradition. This solution honors both by acknowledging your historical claims while creating a new tradition of cooperation. The chamber was silent as the Krell and Vorn representatives conferred with their teams. Finally, the Krell spoke. There is wisdom in this approach. The Krell Republic would be willing to attempt this solution for a trial period of 50 years. The Vorn representative nodded slowly. The Vorn Confederacy agrees to the same terms. A shocked silence fell over the chamber, followed by excited conversations. No one had expected both sides to agree. Speaker Dune raised his hands for silence. It appears that Earth has proposed an acceptable solution. The third challenge is passed. Counselor Bayek stood. This is unprecedented. No new species has ever passed all three challenges on their first attempt. Does this mean Earth will have speaking rights? June asked. According to our traditions, yes, Speaker Dune admitted. Earth has earned the right to be heard at this summit. The human delegation exchanged small smiles. Their gamble had paid off. An elderly alien with gray skin and wise eyes approached them. I am Elder Q, he said. I have observed 300 years of summits. What you have accomplished is remarkable. Thank you, Elder, June replied with a bow. I suspect you knew more about our ways than you revealed, the Elder said quietly. June smiled. We did our research. As you should. But tell me, Representative June, did you expect to succeed in the challenges? I expected that we would be underestimated, June replied, and that created an opportunity. Elder Q nodded thoughtfully. The galaxy may have much to learn from humans. In the days that followed, Earth's status at the summit changed dramatically. They were moved from Sector E to more respectable quarters, closer to the central hub. Their concerns about resource allocation in the Orion Arm were added to the agenda. Representatives from various species approached them to discuss possible alliances. On their final day at the summit, a vote was held on the resource allocation plan. Earth's proposal for a buffer zone around their home system was approved by a narrow margin. As they prepared to depart, Director Tay sent a message. The Council is impressed. You've elevated Earth's standing in the galaxy. But how did you know the challenges could be won? June composed his reply carefully. I studied their history. Every test they created was designed from their perspective. They never considered how humans might approach these challenges differently. Our greatest strength is that we're not like them. On the journey home, the team gathered in the ship's common room. Will they keep underestimating us? Asked Hyun. Some will, June replied. Others will be more cautious now. But we've earned something important, a voice in galactic affairs. And time, added Mina. Time for Earth to grow stronger, to develop our technology, to prepare for greater challenges. Jin, who rarely spoke unless necessary, looked out at the stars. They invited us to test us, to put us in our place. They didn't expect us to rise to the occasion. That's been the story of humanity from the beginning, June said. We're always underestimated, but we always adapt. It's what we do best. Yuna raised her cup in a toast. To the galaxy's biggest mistake, and to Earth's first victory, June added. As their ship accelerated toward home, news of their success spread across the galaxy. In quiet conversations on 100 worlds, the same question was asked. What will the humans do next? Back on Earth, Director Tay received the official communication from the Galactic Council confirming Earth's new status. He read it twice, then pressed a button on his desk. "Begin Phase 2, he said. On his screen, a single message appeared. "Understood. Earth's place among the stars has been secured. The real work begins now." Director Tay smiled. The galaxy had invited humans to the table, never expecting them to take a seat. That was indeed their biggest mistake, and only the first of many they would make in underestimating humanity.